What's up? All right, so recently we've been talking about investment properties, how I just bought a place with these peak home prices and kind of everything before that, just talking about the environment of the market right now and why it's a good time to buy a property in general. So today I'm going to kind of shed some light on why it's a great time, maybe the most opportune time to purchase an investment property right now with these high prices. So for starters, the median home price is up about 25% from this time last year. And this is definitely an outlier year, but these home prices or this home price appreciation rate is just not sustainable, meaning they are going to drop eventually. When will that be? We have no idea. And I've talked about this before, but I don't think there's going to be a real estate market crash. Now, when I say they're going to drop, I'm thinking maybe they're going to go back to normal between 2 to 5% per year on average instead of 25%. But be aware, you're going to see this. It's going to be like those catchy headlines that you're seeing on the news about California. The number of people leaving California rises to 690,000, and the percent of people leaving California has now grown 5 months in a row for the first time ever, when they're not even mentioning that the state holds like 40 million people and there's like 500 something thousand people moving to California. So of the 40 million people that live in California, a net number of 100 something thousand people leaving hardly scratches the state of California. So when you see these catchy headlines on the news, when the real estate market starts to level out or just starts to drop back to somewhere closer to normal, something like home prices have dropped 20% in the last 24 months and the housing market has finally crashed or whatever, keep in mind that's still up a net 5% appreciation since all this craziness began. So 3 key factors that kind of bring this all together: low supply and high demand, low interest rates, and inflation, which when we're talking about investment properties can actually work in your favor, and we'll talk about that here in a second. So when it comes to real estate investing and these next couple years being very uncertain, be sure to do your due diligence when you're looking to invest in the short term right now, because it's very risky with all this uncertainty, even for people that are doing home flips. Do not bank on a 20 to 30% return. Could it happen? Absolutely. Will it happen? No idea. Just don't bank on it, because we don't know when things will begin to go back to normal. Investing for the long term though, this could be the most opportune time to invest in real estate, even with the average and median home price being at its all-time peak. So when we're talking about long-term real estate investing, we mean at least 10 years. Buying a property and holding it for at least 10 years. We can't say what's going to happen in the next 36 months with appreciation or with demand or supply. But with the lowest interest rates ever, if you're planning to hold on to a property for at least 10 years, you're going to be very happy with a interest rate that is historically low and it's fixed. It cannot go up. And this means lower expenses for investors, which in theory should increase your cash flow. With that said, inflation can also work in your favor when it comes to real estate investing. It's often categorized as one of the best hedges against inflation that there is, and I'm going to tell you why right now. Home prices, besides this year, often work parallel with inflation. At the same time, monthly rent usually goes up as well, which helps keep cash flow consistent or even generate more income or a higher cash flow amount. Now here's the kicker. As I mentioned, your mortgage payment is fixed. It does not and cannot increase over time. 99% of the time, this is a real estate investor's biggest expense. Now to be clear, nobody wants inflation. Nobody wants the value of your dollar to go down or costs of goods and services to go up. But while your biggest expense as a real estate investor, your mortgage payment is staying the same, and you're holding that same mortgage payment, same monthly mortgage payment every single year for the next 10, 20, 30 years, your property is increasing in value, and so is your monthly rent. Here's something pretty interesting too. Let's say your rent actually doesn't increase every year on average, and you're breaking even on cash flow. Say your mortgage and expenses cost you about $1,000 per month, and you're bringing in $1,000 per month in rent. Well, there was a study done on this exact same scenario. With $0 in cash flow, and you've got an extremely conservative 2% appreciation rate per year on average, the principal pay down from your rent that you're receiving is actually giving you about a 12% annualized return. This is why long-term real estate investing is so freaking cool and why I'm obsessed with it. For comparison here, the S&P 500 has had an average annual rate of return of about 10.5% since the year 1926. So in this example of getting $0 in cash flow and just basically from your principal paydown, you're still getting an insane return on your investment and an average return higher than the S&P 500 has had in the last 100 years. And again, you're just breaking even. Imagine if you had a little bit of cash flow there too. So with all of that said, the big question is buying now in the peak of the market a good time to buy an investment property? I'm just going to give you some facts here real quick and to let you decide for yourself. So in 2007, the median home price adjusted for inflation was about $270,000. This was the highest median home price ever recorded in history in any given year. So 2008 hits. Housing market following 2008 took quite a bit of time for it to recover. And the lowest median home price in the years following was in 2010. It dropped down to about $200,000. So fast forward to 2019, the median home price was back where it was in 2007, around $270,000. It took about 9 years for it to get back to its all-time highs. And tagging onto that, another little data point here, there has never been a point in history where the median home price actually dropped over a 10-year span. And obviously this includes pre-2008. Hence, why long-term real estate investing or 10 plus years is probably the safest route to go. Now, if flipping houses is your thing, more power to you. That's awesome. But short-term real estate investors and house flippers understand their risk tolerance. And I actually love house flippers. I love people who do short-term investing, reviving a home, reviving a neighborhood. It's great for everybody, and we need these people in our world as well. But if you thought about real estate investing, I hope this helped you out a little bit. If you're playing the long game, you're going to be really happy with that super low historic interest rate. If you're not able to cash flow, you can still see that it's still a great investment. Anyways, if you want some more information on this, give me a shout. I will be happy to help you. And with that said, I will see you next week.